Hello, ladies, gents, and fairy rants. My name is Cedric, this is Cedric's Library, and today we are gonna talk about how to Blackprior in my own TTRPG. Let's do this! Now, you all now know the song and dance. At first, we get to the HP. You get 1d10 plus your constitution modifier as your HP, and your primary ability, is strength. Your saving throw proficiencies are strength and wisdom. You have proficiency with medium armor, short swords and shields. And you can choose one of the following skills to be proficient in, which are athletics, intimidation, persuasion, religion or perception. Also, like any other class, you can choose one of the following feats, which are the tier 1 feats Blackprior has in his 4v4 matches, being Iron Lungs. If your movement would be reduced, it is only reduced by half that amount rounded down. Speed Revive. If you stabilize an ally, they get on their feet immediately, not having to spend any movement to stand up. And Sinister Shield. As a bonus action, you can deal yourself 1d4 damage that can't be reduced and give an ally an AC increase of +1 for 5 rounds. This can be used a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1, and you regain all spent uses after this long rest. Important to note for this feat, you can't use it if you would die from it. At level 2. As a reaction on a successful hit against you, you can flip the attacking creature over your shield, moving them behind you and knocking them prone. You follow up with an attack within the same reaction. This can be used a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier, and you regain all uses after a long rest. This is Blackprior's shield flip. At level 3, you choose your oath. We have 3 oaths, 3 subclasses like any other class. We have the Oath of Redemption, Oath to Apollyon, and Oath of the Heaven. Let's start with Oath of Redemption. At level 3, you swore to strive for redemption, to repent the dark ways your order once followed. Twice per long rest, and as a reaction to an ally within 10 feet of you getting hit, you can move in the way of the attack, taking the damage if the attack roll would exceed your own AC. At level 5, if one or more of your allies are at half or below half of their max HP, and if they are within 5 feet of you, they gain +1 to their AC as long as they remain at below half or half their max HP. At level 10, if you or an ally within 5 feet of you would be reduced to 0 hit points, you can use your reaction to roll a d20. On a 11 to 20, you or the ally regain 1 hit point and are knocked unconscious. This triggers only once per long rest. And at level 15, as a bonus action, you can bolster the resolve of your allies, giving them advantage against being frightened or intimidated, and their weapons deal more damage equal to their wisdom modifier for 5 rounds. This doesn't count if the modifier would be negative. You regain this ability after a long rest. Now, the Oath to Apollyon. You benefit from your enemies getting weaker. Twice per long rest, you can add your wisdom modifier to your attack and damage rolls. If you attack a creature that has half or less than half of its HP left, you regain all spent uses after a long rest. At level 5, your strikes slow your enemies as you target tendons and joints. Twice per long rest, and as a bonus action, you can try to give the last creature disadvantage. Sorry, I'm gonna start over. Your strikes slow your enemies as you target tendons and joints. Twice per long rest, and as a bonus action, you can try to give the last creature disadvantage on their attacks for 5 rounds, being the last creature you hit. The targeted creature has to make a Constitution saving throw with the DC being 8 plus your wisdom modifier plus your proficiency bonus. You regain all spent uses after a long rest. At level 10, you learn to revel in the agony of your enemies. If you hit a creature that is at or below half its HP, you regain half as much SP as you did damage. And at level 15 you swore to uphold the war, and you will. If you kill a creature and haven't used your bonus action this turn, you can use it to make a normal attack against another creature that is within reach. And now to the Oath of Heaven. At level 3 you gain the access to the Lay on Hands ability, which stacks normally like you are a paladin. Twice per long rest at level 5, and for 5 rounds your attacks also deal radiant damage equal to your wisdom modifier. You regain all spent uses after a long rest. At level 10, 3 times per long rest you can add your wisdom modifier to your attack and damage rolls in addition to your normal modifiers. You regain all spent uses after a long rest. At level 15 you double your wisdom modifier. Whenever it is required, you determine how much you heal yourself or someone else. Now at level 5 you gain new feats, which are the tier 2 feats Blackbriar has in 4v4 matches, being Healing Ward. As a bonus action you can heal yourself for 1d4 plus your wisdom modifier. This can be used a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, and you regain all spent uses after a long rest. Inspire. All allies in a radius of 10 feet deal 1d6 more damage with each of their designated weapons, and soldiers/minions gain 1d4 HP for up to 1 minute. This is usable a number of times equal to your wisdom modifier, minimum of 1, and can be activated as a bonus action. You regain all spent uses after a long rest. And lastly, Doom Banner. As an action you place a stationary banner at the point you are standing on. Every enemy within 15 feet of that banner gets -1 AC, and their attacks deals 1d4 less damage. This banner lasts for 5 rounds and is usable once per short rest. At level 6 and 7 you gain an ability score improvement. At level 8, because you are using a short sword which deals 1d6 damage, you can now deal 1d8 plus your strength modifier in slashing damage after you flip a creature, but only on the follow-up attack. At level 10 you get access to the tier 3 feats. Blackbriar, I wanted to say Conqueror there, Blackbriar has in 4v4s, being Punch Through. If you miss the enemy by 1 AC, you still deal 1d4 blunt damage. This is usable a number of times equal to your strength modifier, minimum of 1. You regain all spent uses after a long rest. Oathbreaker. As a bonus action you can use this ability targeting an enemy you can see within 20 feet of you. That enemy gets his AC lowered by 2 for 5 rounds. This ability can be used a number of times equal to half your wisdom modifier, and you regain all spent uses after a long rest. The half wisdom modifier is rounded up. And Tough as Nails. If you would get downed, you instead stay unconscious and regain 1 HP. At level 12 and 14 you gain an ability score improvement. At level 15 you can pick the last feat, which are the tier 4 feats Blackbriar has in 4v4 matches, being Umbral Shelter. You give allied PCs plus 3 AC for 5 rounds. This is usable a number of times equal to half your wisdom modifier, rounded up, a minimum of 1, and you regain all spent uses after a long rest. Regenerate. If you are in combat and no enemy actively faces you, you regain 1d4 HP at the start of each of your rounds. And lastly but not leastly, you have Morale Booster. All allies in a range of 25 feet of you gain 44 temporary hit points and add 1d4 damage to their damage rolls. At level 18 you gain a ability score improvement, and at level 20 you get your capstone ability. You can now use your flip twice instead of once per round. In addition to that, your additional attack after you flipped an enemy now deals 1d10 plus your strength modifier in slashing damage. If you don't send your enemies into the abyss with this character, I don't know what I did wrong when building them. Now, as always, please, if you detect any broken things or detect any holes in my builds, please notify me. I'm gracious if you do so, because even me, um, even I, Jesus, what's with me today? It's the heat. Even I can make errors and just not see things I write down. With that, that's me for this week. Have a good day. See you in 2 weeks. Drink enough water and don't get lost in the Feywild. Bye bye.